Yeah, hey guys, welcome to another video. And today I want to talk about Deontay Wilder again. And as I said previously in my and in my first video, to be honest, about Deontay Wilder, I want to talk about the perception that people have about him. Okay, the perception is that he's a very sensitive man, and that he's in fact too sensitive for the sport of boxing. Okay, and I already said that my take is that if you are a very sensitive man, you are even more made for the sport of boxing if you know how to handle your sensitivity, okay? And before I come to why I think that's the case, I'll really show you again some clips to get yourself an idea of who this man is, how his character is, and why I think it's strange for me that people trash him like that, okay? Or try to trash him for whatever he does, because he didn't harm anybody, right? He doesn't have any problems in his private life we know of. There's no criminal background as far as I can know, or as far as I can tell. So it's crazy that people hate him simply for the person he is. But let me tell you one thing about my personal life. That's nothing new to me. Because at school, I was always the guy who was misperceived. I was the guy that people didn't understand. I was the guy who had a stronger opinion. And people at the time didn't. Because we were all kids, and some kids take a bit longer to actually grow and get their own view on life, okay? And some people never do. So even at 90 years old, there will still be people who haven't got a clue about life at all, okay? But that's not my fault. I mean, that's my personality. And simply because you don't understand me, that doesn't mean I'm a bad man, or that you have the right to trash me or bully me for yeah, speaking out loud. Okay, so after having said that, let's just watch the man first. Okay, so in this interview here from the 30th of September 2018, so almost, yeah, to be fair, about a month exactly um, away from the first Tyson Fury fight, we had this guy interviewing Deontay Wilder, right? And the first thing I want to show you is how his positivity is all over the place, okay?
Healthy. Like I said, I got love, I got happiness, I got peace, and I got good health.
So you see, he's talking about basic things. He says he's got good health, he feels powerful, he's strong, whatever. And you see by his mimics that he's not lying. He feels great. He feels simply great. And this positivity gets even crazier when he makes comparisons.
I ain't going nowhere no time soon. So anybody that's trying to wait me out, you're gonna be waiting for a long time. You're gonna be waiting for a long. You ever seen a hungry hyena wait for your ass to get down off that tree? Shit, that all day, all day long.
See, he's extremely funny, right? It's crazy sometimes to listen to him, but I think he's so funny. And again, you see his positive energy. So this man got humor, obviously. And some people say that this is too crazy for most of people because they aren't funny themselves. A lot of people just want to be entertained, but they cannot entertain themselves. And as a professional boxer, of course, you have to entertain the people, which is what Deontay can do, which is what Tyson Fury can do, which is what some other people can do as well. But not everybody has got this showmanship and this personality to be really able to entertain others, right? And he has it, and he's sometimes over exaggerating, but he's got a talent for that. So he's really positive. And then let's see what he says when they talk about his children. I think it's a bit in the middle of the video. think it's right here.
You fight Tyson Fury? I said, yeah. Yeah, you gonna knock him out? He said, I said, you damn right, son, I'm gonna knock him out. Can I get a bomb squad? Bomb squad! I mean, I love my children. I love them. You know, being able to be a father and a fighter is so amazing. It's so amazing. It's a relief. Like it's a what's the word I'm trying to look for? Not only is it relaxing, but it give me a peace of mind as well too. Let me know I'm doing the right things, I'm teaching right. But being a fighter and a father, you know, it's amazing because when I'm at my job, I got to be another person. I have to be. It ain't that I want to be. I have to be because I transform. But then, after all that crazy stuff is over, I got my children that'll bring me back down to the softest man in the world. They can, man, you want to see me cry? Anything dealing with children, I love kids, period. Anything dealing with children will make me cry, bro. I done cried at movies, bro. I'm the type of guy that I done cried at the Four Color Girls. I done cried at Big Daddy. Out of all movies, I swear, I don't want to go off the Peter Pie. Like, that shit made me, like, I had to shed tears. Like, man, don't let him go. He don't want to go. You know what I mean? You know, kids touch my heart. You know, I hate when you have to hear about kids have to grow up so fast, and they can't enjoy the most precious part of their lives as being a child. They can't enjoy. You know how precious that is. You know what I'm saying? Being a child, you don't have to do nothing. You don't have no responsibility. Nothing. But we all try to rush and be wrong, huh? We want to go. Want to be able to hang out with our people.
So I stop it here. Sorry for the sound effects. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. So hopefully there's no sound problems right now. So we got a ton of information. So first of all, we see that he says he has to be a different person when he goes into the boxing ring, which is of course true, because you're risking your life each and every time when you go in there. Of course you need to step up your verbal game a bit. Of course you have to maybe insult your opponent, but that doesn't really mean that you really hate the other side. It just means that you're doing promotional talk and you're hyping yourself up to get the energy and the courage you need to be successful. Because as he said, he's a competitor. He's not just simply there to get knocked out or to lose. Of course, he wants to win. That's why we participate in tournaments. That's why we participate in competitions in general, because we want to win. Nobody wants to lose. I mean, losing is never the goal of doing sports, and so why should it be any different, especially in combat sports, and especially in this most brutal combat sport, which is boxing, okay? So, that's the first thing. And then he says he loves children so much, and everything about children can make him cry, basically. So, if his children are sad, for example, it will make him cry, because he feels like it's his duty to be there for his children in each and every situation of their life. And he also said that nowadays, with the fast world we're living in, I mean, now everything's on hold, but after this situation we have right now in the world, everything will accelerate again, and might even become faster than it actually was before. And it's true, most parents really want their children to go, to go. So that's one thing. But first, of course, to grow up as fast as possible, so that they can get rid of their responsibility and say, okay, now you're old enough, you're responsible for your life now, and I have nothing to do with it, okay? And he said, give children the time to grow. It's the most precious time in their life. So by all of that, we can really see that he's a sensitive man and that he's a good father, okay? That's very important, because I know this from a personal perspective, okay? So my father always wanted me to grow up as soon as possible to help actually him. So when I was still a young boy, still a child, and I had no clue what's going on in the world, he was already sort of, well, demanding from me some sort of help for his problems, for his life. And how am I supposed to help an adult when I'm still 6 years old, right? And that's what he talks about. I think in the next minute or so.
But what that leaves us up in trouble. In trouble when we could have just stayed a child for a couple more years. Just, you know, to be a child, you can't get your childhood years back. I remember so much of my childhood years, good and bad. You know, everybody had a story. But the beautiful thing about this is me and my children, I had the opportunity to give them the best life they ever had in their life. You know, because I'm that type of parent that I feel that they deserve it. You know, some parents don't want to give their children the best life because they didn't have it. So
See, that's what I was talking about. He said some parents don't want to give their children the best opportunities because they didn't have them. So they are very selfish and think like, okay, because I didn't have it, because my father wasn't able to provide for me in the way I wanted to. I'm not gonna do it either. Okay, or I'm not gonna do it neither. And that's also something I found out about my father, for example. My father always wanted me to live his dreams and to live his life, to do what he couldn't do, but he never actually asked me what I want to do. And I have, of course, other goals than my father, which is okay. And I'm not blaming him for being different than me, but he's blaming me for it. So, you see, he's sensitive, but he's sensitive in the right way. And I think he's gonna cry for 10 seconds or so at the end, where he talks about his children. So you see in his eyes that he's getting a bit.
Champ, I appreciate you giving me an hour today.
See? And he sort of feels embarrassed that he cries on camera here, but I mean it's normal. If you think about everything, and this man got 7 children, so I mean, of course there were a lot of things going on, and he basically started boxing simply for helping out his daughter who had spina bifida, so disability, and that already says a lot. Okay. And then we have this guy here, who's obviously not a Wilder fan, and maybe, or I would definitely say, a Wilder hater.
George Foreman gets on the horn with Deontay Wilder.
And what he first mentions is that, obviously we all know that George talked to Deontay because of the loss he suffered to Tyson Fury. And George said then, okay, we had a lot of good conversations, and I can really tell that this is a very sensitive man, which is again something we already saw right now. Okay, so if you haven't noticed it before, after the first clip I've shown you, you should definitely know. Okay, and he now goes there and tries to bash him.
He talks about the conversation that they had, and what George Foreman gets with his conversation with Deontay Wilder in a nutshell is that Deontay Wilder is a sensitive man. And what I got to say to George Foreman is like, hell, George, we knew that. That's the problem. That sensitivity part that you was hearing in your phone conversation, that's the problem. And George Foreman goes on to say that, he'll be better in the rematch. And not only could he have won the rematch with Tyson Fury, he could have done it easily. You know what I'm saying? So he said he's going to do it easily this time. And my thing about that is, I don't know why George is lying to that boy. You know what I'm saying? And I love George, but I don't know why George is lying to him, because at first you say this man is sensitive, and George Foreman is well aware that boxing is a mental game first and foremost. Everybody knows that. From all the great trainers know that, from Emmanuel Stewart right on down to Customato. Everybody knows it's the mind first. It's the mind first. Deontay Wilder is mentally weak. You know what I'm saying? George Foreman just described the problem with Deontay.
So, he says, obviously, what we know right now, that he's a sensitive guy. And he says, okay, therefore he's weak. Okay, he's mentally weak because he's sensitive. Now, you can be a sensitive guy and still be mentally strong if you know how to use your emotions for your benefits. Okay? And why do I think that strength plays a major role in Wilder's success? Why do I think it's even more important than his gift, his atomic bomb, his hammer from Alabama, okay? Why do I think that his sensitivity is even more important? Let me tell you something about fighting, okay? Most people think fighting is like any other sport. It's just, well, they were used and trained to do it, so you can compare them to Major League Baseball players or to basketball players or to football or soccer players, however you want to call it. And it's definitely not. Because, look, I'm an amateur boxer myself, and when I first started doing combat sports, I was a small kid, and I started with Taekwondo. And I did sparring in Taekwondo. Then I went over to kickboxing, and from kickboxing over to boxing. And I should have went to boxing at the very beginning of my life, because that was always my goal, I think, and my passion at least. But again, I didn't have the parents to support me in that, okay? So there we go again. Parents are so important, especially if you're a young child. And so my father made me do a sport which I didn't want to do, which is tennis, okay? So there we have it again. But I went over from Taekwondo to kickboxing and then finally over to boxing because I was always better with my hands, better with my fists than with my legs. But nevertheless, I can really tell you, because I did a lot of sparring and stuff like that. Look, emotions play a major role. You cannot be a good fighter if you are cold as shit, okay? And why is that the case? Because once you know you're in for a fight, everything can happen. Everything can happen to you and to your opponent. So what you basically have to do is to grab all your doubts, your fears, your anger, your hatred, all the negative energy, and turn it into well, fighting energy. And the same goes for love, for example. Love for the sport, love for your wife or your fiance, whatsoever, for your girlfriend, okay? Love for your children, love for life in general. And you have to put all these emotions together. And obviously you have to control them. But the more emotions you have, the more emotions you possess, the more actually you can benefit from them. And it's not like Wilder is some guy who picked up boxing yesterday, okay? I mean, this guy is now 34 and he picked up boxing when he was 20, which is extremely late, but which again shows you that he has talent for the sport, okay? And he's going on for 14 years now. So this man knows what fighting is about. This man knows what boxing is about. And sometimes it can be overwhelming for somebody, as he just mentioned in my last video where I showed you a clip where TMZ did an interview with him right after the first Fury fight, okay? Sometimes it can just be too much for anybody. I mean, nobody's God, right? We are all human beings. But his emotions is what keeps him going when he fights people who are the better boxers. Not necessarily the better fighters, but the better boxers. And even me, as a great Deontay Wilder fan, who thinks that he's one of the best fighters, if not the best fighter in the heavyweight division, I certainly think so, have to agree that he's not the best boxer. But that doesn't mean anything. Because once you have this heart and this energy, and you have the gift that he has, and his athleticism, which is also something not everybody has, right? Once you have all of that combined, it can make you so much stronger, and it can make you beat anybody else who's actually better at their craft, okay? But he's undoubtedly one of the best fighters. I think he's got the best chin in the heavyweight division, although he's being rocked a couple of times. But why is he being rocked? He's being rocked because he's sort of the lightest guy in the division. So that's something we always have to keep in mind. And he doesn't have the strongest legs. That's another thing. But he has enormous will. He has an enormous chin. He has good neck muscles. He has sort of the perfect frame for boxing. He should just have bigger legs, in my opinion. But that's it. Everything else is perfect. And why is that? Why is sensitivity something that is bad for boxing? You just need to live with it. You need to live with your emotions. But that's with everything in life. I mean, if my boss hurts me emotionally, hurts me in my soul, okay, I have to conduct myself in a certain way. I could go there and say, okay, I punched this man right in the face simply because he said I'm dumb, okay? But would that be appropriate or not? I would say no. But then again, if he continues and insults me and tries to humiliate me, well, then maybe I think about punching him in the face. So you always have to be aware of your emotions, and you have to be in control of them. That's one thing.
Deontay Wilder and his fan base, sensitives. Like most fanboys are, sensitive. You know what I'm saying? But Deontay Wilder is definitely a sensitive, jealous dude. I said it in the...
Why is he jealous? Why is he jealous? I mean, this guy got money. He says he's got his peace. He's got a beautiful fiancée. He's got 7 children. He's making money. And he has a very, very decent fan base. I mean, okay, there are guys who have larger fan bases. But he has a very loyal fan base. And his fan base is not just in the United States. As a matter of fact, it's also here in Europe. And I'm Middle Eastern, I'm an Arab, and I'm not even black, so I'm his fan. So most people have only fans related to their country. The huge stars have fans all around the world, and Deontay Wilder is some of them, or is one of them.
The very beginning, when I first started doing this stuff, he has a feminine energy.
Okay, so now he's saying a feminine energy because it's sensitive. Okay, let me tell you something. There are guys now on this planet who do not really know what masculinity looks like, okay? Masculinity doesn't mean that you have to be cold all the time and that you do not show any emotions whatsoever. Because, let me tell you one thing. If you do that each and every day, and there is maybe a girl who was initially attracted to you, she won't be anymore. That's not a man a girl wants. She doesn't want to have a whiny guy either. So when I'm talking about sensitivity, I'm not talking about a whiny guy. So Deontay Wilder is not whiny. He whines, he cries about the right things, which is himself, his fiancée or his wife, and his children, his family. So these are the things you have an absolute right to cry for, okay? And that doesn't make you whiny. It's not like, oh, I broke my nail, I can't train anymore, or my haircut isn't right, I feel so bad. It's not something like that. That Deontay does, right? So this guy is making up things, and as I said, bullying, trashing Deontay Wilder for no reason. And I don't know whether this guy is black or white, but it wouldn't surprise me if this guy was actually black, okay? Because, I don't know why, but there are so many black guys actually who hate the black guy. So that's crazy to me. I mean, if there was an Arab heavyweight world champion like Deontay, which there is not on this level. There is Mahmoud Shah, which is an Arab heavyweight world champion, the normal regular WBA heavyweight world champion, but he's not on Deontay's level. Okay, but he still is. So, and he lives in Germany, so the same as I do. And I'm gonna promote him and support him in every shape or form, right? Simply because he's an Arab as well. Okay, and I don't get it why people who live in the same country as he does, and who belong to the same ethnicity, why they don't support him. Simply for that matter. Okay.
He pushes off and he runs off of feminine energy. Like I said, Deontay Wilder ain't been the same since Anthony Joshua beat Vladimir Klitschko. He morphed into somebody totally else, and then you seen his panties come down.
So what does the fight with Klitschko and Anthony Joshua have to do with Deontay Wilder? And where are his pants down? And I'm gonna skip the rest of it because I already gave you my take on it. But there's something here where he's making absolute fun of Deontay. He's saying, oh, he's most of the time getting stretched, and he's dancing around the ring, and he's sometimes twerking, like he's saying, I think, in one situation that he does it in each and every training video.
His butt faced the door of Luca's studio, and as her boss walked down the narrow hallway to pass them, he was...
So that was a caricature, by the way. So it was not an official image, not an official photo, okay? So everybody could have made this in an exaggerated way, okay?
met with Wilder's booty twerking in his face. Ever since then...
Look, he does not only dance in training camp, but he also dances after a fight in the ring. And why not? Look, if you have a positive energy guy like Deontay, okay, then this isn't surprising at all, because music is all about positive energy. And somebody who's overfloating with positive energy wants to get rid of that. So, I mean, of course, do you really dance when you're sad? Or when you have negative feelings? Of course not. But you dance when you have positive feelings. When you feel like your life is balanced and you simply feel happy. And if dancing now is considered an only feminine sports, well, go to all the pro dancers who are males and talk about them. It's not the way you dance, or if you dance or not. It's the way you behave in life. So the way you take care of your family, the way you take care of your friends, if you show solidarity with the weaker ones in our society, that's what makes you a man. If you have a strong opinion and if you stick by it no matter what, that's what makes you a man, okay? If you're not like a flag in the wind, okay? That's what makes you a man, okay? Not if you're dancing or not dancing. And I just, for the end of the video, wanted to show you something here. So Wilder is a bit dancing here on the dip bars. I mean, let this man have his fun, okay? And for finishing this video, I'm just gonna say, do you really think an Olympic bronze medalist and the longest reigning heavyweight world champion that we have had in the last 10 years, okay? Do you really think that he got there simply by twerking and grinding, as it said here in this video clip? Or do you think he actually put some work in to get there? Okay? So I let you think about it and come to your own conclusions. So thank you again for your attention. If you liked this video, please leave me a thumbs up and see you the next time.